Hey y'all, this is the first episode of what I like to call the Common Man Sports Talk Show, where at any time of any day you feel like you want to chime in or say something about any sports topic, you're free to do so. We'll have an open platform if we get enough viewers. So, what I like to start off with on today is the the NFL playoff picture and the divisional round. We got Lions versus Seahawks, Giants and Packers, Texans and Raiders. Pittsburgh and Miami will go down the list one by one and address each. First, Lions and Seahawks. And I think that's a more interesting matchup than a lot of people are giving it credit for, because, and that goes for a few other matchups, which we'll get into shortly, but it seems as if everyone's just saying, oh, the next round is going to be the Seahawks versus the Giants, or Seahawks versus the Packers, which is also foreshadowing another game. But y'all better not sleep on the Lions, man, because let's not forget the Seahawks offensive line is up below average at best. And the Lions, if Ziggy Ansah is one of the best pass rushers in the league, he goes kind of flies under the radar. He's been a little nicked up. Haloti Ngata's not what he used to be, but if they can definitely generate a pass rush. They're getting Darius Slay back in the secondary, so that's definitely going to help them. You know, on the defensive side of the ball, they have solid safeties that could play the run and the pass. Russell Wilson's Russell Wilson. There's no way that, you can ever discredit him, and he's can make a play at any time in the game. But he is small, and you can't put licks on him with that defense, And, Jimmy Graham he has been ascending, especially in the latter part of the season, but he's definitely not what he used to be when he was with the Saints. So, and, the Lions do have linebackers, Levy, Whitehead, who is actually, I really like Whitehead. He's getting to be a much better player as the weeks go on. And, Jim Caldwell has those guys, playing well. So, as well as Jim Bob Cooter, gotta love that name on offense. Matthew Stafford does concern me, though, I have to say, with the issue with the middle finger. Ever since he's had that middle finger issue, it's like he was an MVP candidate up until that happened, and then all of a sudden his play just started spiraling downward. So, that could definitely hinder their chances. But they have good, the running game is a little suspect, but they can receive the ball without the backfield. They have a lot of weapons as far as the receiving core. Eric Ebron. Then you have Marvin Jones, obviously Golden Tate. The running backs can catch the ball, so I think passing they can really pass the ball well. And let's not forget, Seattle Seahawks are not going to have Earl Thomas. They have Cam Chancellor, but he's more of a thumper. He's a strong safety. He comes in the box, plays the run, which Detroit doesn't really do. Earl Thomas was that center fielder. He played the pass for you. So, and he's not going to be there. The poor guy's probably the best free safety in football, and he's contemplating retirement. I hope he doesn't, because I love watching him play. But anyway, so having said that, Sheed Sheeds, he's a tall, lanky guy. He plays corner. There's some talk about him playing safety, but he's no Earl Thomas. No one's Earl Thomas. So having said that, everyone's so quick to just say, oh, the Lions have no chance, blah, blah, blah. But I would not be surprised at all if the Lions would win this game. Obviously the Seahawks, given their history, and the superior coach and so on and so forth, the quarterback position, which I don't believe is disproportionate as people think, but they do have the advantage there, and star players, Richard Sherman and what have you. But I do believe that the Lions should be given way more of a shot than they are being given in this game. So I actually will pick the upset here. I'll go out on the limb, and I will pick the Lions winning on a last-second field goal, winning by 2 points, being down by 1, kicking a field goal late. Next up, we have the Giants versus the Packers. I am definitely an Aaron Rodgers fan. I've been a fan of his for as long as I can remember. Eli's Eli. The Giants are the Giants. It's two-time Super Bowl champion. The argument can go all day about how lucky they were, or David Tyree, the Manningham catch, or whatever. But Since football is a results-oriented business, and the results basically say that they've won two Super Bowls, and Aaron Rodgers has won one. But any person that knows football, you look at the two quarterbacks, I don't think it's even close. Aaron Rodgers can make any throw from any angle, going left, going right. He's got wheels. Eli never has wheels, never has been accused of even coming close to having wheels. The offensive line in Green Bay, it's not even close. I mean, Max Kellerman brings it up all the time, and I hate that, the kid is young, so he'll get better. But poor Eric Flowers, I mean, Justin Pugh's not what he used to be. I mean, that Giants O line. I mean, if the Pack can even get somewhat of a pass rush with Peppers looking like himself and Clay Matthews starting to look like himself again, they're gonna have a long day. Now, defensively, I mean, I'll address the Packers secondary soon, but defensively, the Giants. I would ask anyone to show me a better defense, especially later in the season, than the Giants have been playing. I mean, Landon Collins, DRC, Eli Apple. I mean, how they said this rookie was too raw. Technique wasn't good. Whatever the excuses were, the kid has bumped DRC to your third corner. You got Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie as your third corner. You are doing something good. Absolutely. So you got those three guys. I mean, they were for a long time. Everyone's saying the Broncos had probably the best trio of corners, which they still may, but I don't think so anymore. I think it's Jack Rabbit, Janoris Jenkins, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, and Eli Apple. I think they've taken over as the best trio of cornerbacks in the league. And with Landon Collins, oh my goodness, that kid is a beast. He could thump you. He could play the pass. He could do anything. I mean, you got Olivier Vernon there. I didn't realize how big Damon Harrison was. 350? I had no idea he was that big, man. That guy is a straight monster. And if they had JPP, who was my fellow Bull USF Go Bulls team classmate back in the day, man, it would be something else. But they don't. But they're still formidable, and that defense they have peaked at the right time. So that defensive line versus the Pack O-line, I'm really interested to see how that matchup's going to go. But having said that, I probably have to give a slight edge to Green Bay, given the quarterback that they have and that they've finally gotten a running game. When you give Aaron Rodgers even a little bit of a running game, and Montgomery's been excellent. I mean, you got to move that 88 off his back and put the 28 or whatever number you want to put, because he's a running back, baby. But he's got moves for days. You give Aaron Rodgers any type of a running game, I mean, look what the guy's doing, man. It's ridiculous. Jordan Nelson's finally starting to play, get healthy. Cobb's doing his thing. Devontae, this new kid, can't remember his name, Geronimo Allison. Got two good tight ends, man. The Packers clicking at the right time, man. So really looking for them to step it up in the playoffs. I really am. And now I guess get into their defense, which is really what worries me, particularly that secondary. I mean, they are definitely overachieving. I got to give them credit. They play with effort. But the only real decent above average player they have is Clinton Dix. Everyone else, I mean, not to be disrespectful to NFL players, but when you're going up against ODB and Sterling Shepard and all those guys. One thing I will say is, the Giants, they have no tight end. They have no tight end. I don't understand why Donnell hasn't come around. They tried something with Will Tye. They have no tight end. So that may free up the safeties to not focus on the middle so much and be able to help outside the numbers with the wide receivers. We'll see. But I think that's going to be a real interesting matchup with the Giants and the Pack as far as that goes. But if I have to pick, they're in Lambeau Field. It's projected to be 10 below or whatever, man. There's no way I could go against Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's going to be a good game. I believe it will be tooth and nail. And the Giants are just one big Odell Beckham play from winning any game. But I think the Packers will be able to control the ball a little bit with Montgomery, and Rodgers will make just enough plays. The Packers will pull away at the end and win by 10 points. Now we got the Texans versus Oakland. I just gotta say, man. I mean, how could you not feel bad for the Raiders this year, man? Playing as well as they have. I mean, Derek Carr was an MVP front runner at one point, man. The kid was playing awesome, man. Such a good, not a good young man, great young quarterback. Got the receiving core they got, running game they got, the second best offensive line, probably one B. Truthfully, I don't think they're that far off from Dallas. I mean, but anyway. You just got to feel bad for those guys, man, because I really think they could have made a serious push to challenge New England for the AFC crown. Having said that, I mean, let's just be realistic. They might win this game. They probably win this game against the Texans because Brock Osweiler, oh man, he just robbed. Houston for that $37 million guaranteed and $72 million contract. I mean, the coach wasn't even consulted when the owner made that signing. Who does that in the NFL, man? But anyway, Oakland may get by Texans with Connor Cook. I really don't know who's going to win that one. If I had to pick. Texans defense, Clowney's finally coming on. The Texans defense overall is really good. So I think they'll probably find a way to shut down that passing game because, I mean, did you see some of those passes that were being thrown to Cooper and those guys out there? I mean, they were missing by miles in that last game. They just don't look good. Derek Carr was what made that team go. I mean, Latavius Murray can run, but you don't have that quarterback, man. Especially come playoff time, going up with a good defense like the Texans. You don't have much of a shot. And Connor Cook, he may have a future. I don't know, but as of right now, I don't think it's happening. The only good thing they got going for him is that Osweiler is going to play Savages. I think the backup because of concussion protocol. So I'll probably pick the Texans to win that game. I mean, the AFC in this round right now is really boring, to be honest. Thank God for the NFC because that matchup, Texans Oakland. I mean, to me, it's the least interesting at best. But if I had to pick someone, I'd probably pick the Texans in a low-scoring, ugly game, man, because I don't like the quarterback scenario for both teams is just horrendous. So I pick Texans in a close game, maybe getting a couple defensive scores, Clowney to get a strip sack or something like that. But I'm not even really interested in that game. And finally, we got Pittsburgh versus the Dolphins. Now, that could definitely be an interesting matchup because you got Miami's D, which is flown under the radar all year. Let's not forget they got Ndamukong Suh. Say what you want about him, he's still a beast. You got Cameron Wake. You got those guys there, and I mean, those boys on defense can ball, man. And I like Matt Moore. I can't lie. I like Matt Moore. He looks. It's like a similar situation in Texans when Osweiler went down, Savage came in. He looked good. Tannehill goes down, and Matt Moore comes in. He looks good, man. I mean, you got Parker. That boy can straight up make catches. He's not a home run threat or anything like that, Devontae Parker, but he can run routes very well. He'll make catches. He'll move the chains for you. You know what I mean? Jay Ajayi, I think he's an up and coming star in the league. I really like him from Boise. There, he's a really good young runner. And Pittsburgh's defense, I mean, they're a lot more weak in the secondary. Their run defense is actually not that bad, but I think Ajayi and the Dolphins have a pretty underrated O line. They're a lot better than people give them credit for. So I think Ajayi will do pretty well against that line, and I think the Dolphins receivers against that secondary should do very well. Now, having said that, Pittsburgh got too much offense, man, and just too much offense. I mean, Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell. I think they might get D'Angelo Williams back. Ladarius Green, 6'6", could run like a 4.5. Got hands. Then you got Wheaton. You got Antonio Brown, of course. I mean, it's offense for days, man. It's crazy, and at the end of the day, I think that's just going to be a little too much for Miami to handle. And while I think they will put up a good fight and it will be a pretty decent game, a lot better than the Texans-Oakland game, I think Pittsburgh will find a way to pull it off with that prolific offense. So picking Pittsburgh in that game, probably win by about 10 or 13 points, something like that. Because Miami is still relatively young, and I think it's just a good accomplishment this year that they even made it to the playoffs. So I got to give them props on just that alone. Because I don't think anybody picked them to make the playoffs this year. I think a lot of people are talking about the Bills or other teams like that. We'll talk about the coaches and things like that another day, but. I give Miami props just getting to the playoffs. So, but we'll see what happens. That's my take on that, guys. So let's open it up for discussion and see what y'all have to say. All right, I'm Leighton Wright, Common Man Sports Talk. Y'all have a good day.